we on a little time schedule here because Sean Michelle will be joining us around 9:10. So we're gonna put the pedal to the metal. Okay, and somebody who got their medal, somebody who got their dollars. We gotta call him Danny Dollars, not Danny Dollars. Guy got dollars. Let me hold a dollar, please. Okay, so an NFL insider on Daniel Jones, $160 million contract. I have no idea what the Giants are thinking, but do you agree with this insider? And Anthony, if you want to do the honors and kick us off, by all means.
Um, I think the Giants did what they had to do in that situation. I mean, because realistically, who else was they going to get to play quarterback? Who really is worth more, right? Are you gonna go get Derek Carr? Yeah, I mean, we literally just watched him get benched. So you really gonna replace Daniel Jones with him? And Daniel Jones is coming off of having his best season, and now you're talking about a whole nother season working with Brian Dayball. Um, there's a guy who just got cut by the Vikings, who I would love to see the Giants go after. Adam Thielen. You throw him in there, help Daniel Jones out, because again, the Giants don't have any receivers. So, but yeah, the other option was you're gonna go try to get Aaron Rodgers. You're gonna all that money on Aaron Rodgers' contract for him to stay for 2 years, maybe. And then what? Now you back in the same situation. Now you got to find a whole new quarterback. So yeah, they had to give Daniel Jones the money. I think if they get another two receivers that are like, if they can get a good one receiver, and then maybe sign a veteran like Adam Thielen, I think that Daniel Jones will make another leap this season.
Zay?
I think when I saw the contract initially, I was confused because when it said 160 million, the initial report said 160 million guaranteed. I said, "Oh, whoa, 160 million guaranteed. What is going on here?" After the information came out, slowly but surely, 82 million guaranteed the first 2 years. After that, they have the option to like kind of get rid of his contract or restructure or extend his contract. So the cap hit isn't as crazy as it's supposed to be. I think the first year is like a 9 million cap hit. So now the next year they're able to create cap space. They go after receivers, go after weapons on that offense so he can thrive. I think that was the best thing, the best case scenario for the Giants is to re-sign Daniel Jones, bring back Saquon Barkley. Hopefully, on the franchise tag, it doesn't end there. Hopefully, they still having contract talks to extend his contract to keep Saquon Barkley there for the long haul. That defense is still there. They're still young and scrappy. And you just hope that they have the cap space to bring in a receiver, a top guy, a vet. Right? It has to be a vet. I think they got a good receiver through the draft, which is fine. They need a veteran receiver out there, a veteran star. I got to be a guy who's been in a spotlight before, on a team that thrives on offense. There's a couple guys out there that can be the number one for the Giants. There's a lot of names out there. People were talking about T. Higgins at one point. People are talking about D Hop, Thielen from the Vikings that just got cut. So there's a lot of names out there. Keenan Allen, apparently he's out there still. So there's a couple guys that could fit into the Giants mold, be the number one receiver. But I believe that the insider scene. I don't know what the Giants are thinking. I think that's false. I think, like I said, the language of the contract didn't come out initially. So a lot of people are like, what the heck is going on? Why bring back Daniel Jones? I think Ant said it best, that who do you bring in? Like who's the name that you bring in that automatically makes the Giants better, and it just enhances the offense that has no weapons as it is. Daniel Jones, you can make the argument, has yet to play with a number one or a number two receiver, on an offense, and they just went to the playoffs and beat the Vikings. So I think for me, you have to give a kid a shot. Give a kid a shot with weapons. See what he's capable of doing when you have someone outside of Saquon Barkley as your top weapon on the offense, and see what he's made of. See what he could possibly do. I think he showed tremendous strides from his first couple seasons on the Dable. And I think this year we'll see a more aggressive quarterback with weapons on the football field, where receivers are being doubled now, tripled. Because I think all last season you could probably see when you watch the Giants game, if you watch the Giants game at all, that a lot of guys are on single coverage or even left them wide open because you're not worried about them. And then now, if you got D Hop out there, you got potential Thielen, Keenan Allen. You can't single coverage these guys. These guys will rip your defense apart. That leaves a lot of guys open, wide open, creating more opportunities for the Giants to score way more points. I think it was a fantastic job on the Giants front office to get the contract structured correctly, so they're able to add weapons to this offense, to this team, so they can make beyond just playoff push that they made. They want more. Dable wants more, and I think this is going to help the Giants propel forward for the near future.
I would love to see them sign Hopkins, Thielen, and then draft a wide receiver in the second round.
Yeah, they need a lot of wide receivers. Like they need to go wide receiver shopping. And what I mean by shopping, you know how it is when you go shopping, you get the bags, you get the, different stores, different designers. You go shopping. That's what they need to do when it comes to wide receivers. Now, look, I agree, Zay. The last point that you made, actually before the last point that you made, you said something about the language of the contract, and I'm going to get into that in a few minutes. But I think this insider should have read the language or waited for the language of the contract to come out before he went yappity yap yap yap. But with that being said, yes, hell yeah, I disagree with this clown over here, this idiot insider. When you think about things from this perspective, I hate the fact that a lot of people made it seem like Daniel Jones was a psychopath for asking for $45 million. Like they made it seem like he was a psychopath. Like you go on radio shows, these cats is flaming him. I'm like, yo, when y'all trying to negotiate y'all contracts, y'all ain't got nobody up y'all ass. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should make this and that. So don't be doing that, okay? Like he's not an idiot. He knows the quarterback market and how the quarterback market operates. And anybody who understands capitalism in this country should understand why he wanted $45 million, even if he's not worth it. Okay? But nevertheless, I always said, and I said on the show, exactly, Zay, that when the Giants was trying to give him 35 to 39 million in between there, and he wanted 45, I said, you know what? They're going to meet at the common ground 40 mil mark. Lil Shadamas on the mic. They did. So, look, when you think about it, the Giants had no choice. They had to get a deal done with Jones. Tagging Jones would have restricted the team's cap space. So Daniel Jones will now count only 66 million on the cap over the next 2 seasons compared to 71.3 million if he were tagged twice. So also tagging him, would have came at a detriment. We all know to Saquon Barkley, who is the vocal point of the offense, and now, is creating more voice to fill at the running back spot for the Giants. So basically, the Giants were able to use a $10 million franchise tag on Saquon now. So now that the Giants retain Saquon and Jones at a combined $31.1 million, the cap hit is less. When you think about the quarterback franchise tag would have been 32.4 million, which is like for Daniel Jones in itself. So the fact that they're combined 31 million, you franchise tag him, that's 32 million on Daniel Jones alone. And you lose Saquon. So they had to make this deal happen. Like, I don't see no other way. The Giants don't have any money guaranteed in his third year of his contract. So realistically, after 2024, they can get out of his contract with cap savings. So the way how they work this contract is not only beneficial to Daniel Jones when you talk about the yearly salary of it, the 40 million a year, but realistically speaking, it's beneficial to them as well. So it's a win-win. Saquon Barkley is back. He got the tag. You can say he's a loser, kind of, because he deserves more, but he's, on the Giants still. So I guess you could say that's a minor W. Everybody wins here. And that's why this deal is a good deal. And this insider right here is an idiot. But yeah, we might as well move on. Any last
one last thing about the Giants. I think it's like it's interesting because where do we see Daniel Jones ceiling moving forward? When people think $40 million quarterbacks, we're thinking taking teams to the NFC Championship, AFC Championship. We're taking teams to next levels, and that's why when people say overpay, when people said overpay, they're focused on where has he taken to the team recently. Is his talent capable of taking his team above and beyond? I think a lot of people don't understand that maybe Daniel Jones was given the short stick of the straw of the bunch. He was given a shorthanded. He wasn't given the best resources to succeed, and maybe, just maybe, with everything that's being restructured and changed up now, they're giving them an opportunity to do something with hopefully weapons that come in with the Giants. And that's when we'll see the full extent and full potential of what Daniel Jones can possibly be. We know he's able to move on his feet. We know he has an arm. He had vision woes where he's throwing interceptions left and right. But nonetheless, you see the spurts of talent that Daniel Jones possesses. Is only now can we see him do that with weapons that the Giants potentially can acquire. And I think, like I said, it was a smart signing because if you're able to bring in some free agents, somebody It don't gotta be the superstar of the league, but if you could bring in some type of talent to put around this kid, you may just see the best potential version of himself, and you may see probably the second best quarterback in the NFC East, potentially. Not yet, but potentially.
Yeah, and I think when you talk about those naysayers about, obviously this guy's not a better quarterback than Mahomes. Why is Mahomes only making 45 million a year and he's making 40? But for those people who know how the quarterback market works, they want to ask that question. Those naysayers out here, because it's all about timing. When the Chiefs gave Mahomes that contract, which looked like an overpaid then, is now an underpay. It was just the timing. And I'm gonna use this analogy. When you talk about hip hop, the greatest rappers of all time, you can argue Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, KRS-One. They didn't reap the benefits of the profits of hip hop because they founded hip hop and hip hop wasn't as popular. So they didn't make as much money as rappers today that you put them in a room with KRS-One and Rakim, they getting sliced. But they making more money because it's more profitable. The salary cap is only going to go up. The quarterback market, guys that are mid-level, second tiers, and third tiers are going to get paid like second and first tiers. That's just how the market is. Like, it's all about timing. Imagine Michael Jordan with social media. We're not having no debate about who's the GOAT. He got social media on his side. So everything is about timing. And right now, Daniel Jones was in the perfect time. And that's why, can you call it an overpay? Sure. But that's why it's an overpay. It is what it is.
I wouldn't even say that it's an overpay though, because let's say Daniel Jones doesn't make the playoffs, you probably pay him 30 million a year if you were going to keep him, right? But now when you take into effect that he didn't have his best season yet, not only got to the playoffs, but got a win in the playoffs as the lower seed. So now it's like, yeah, now we're projecting, for what he's going to be able to do moving forward. But that's also contingent on what we do at wide receiver. And if we bring in some guys to really get the full potential out of this kid, because some of the best quarterbacks in the world have down seasons, when guys like Devontae Adams leave. So, you add some talent to that offense, and then you see, all right, we gave him that 40 million a year. Nah, it was worth that 40 million a year.
Oh yeah. Me, I don't think it's an overpay. Most people do. That's why I said, could you say slightly, depending on how you feel about Daniel Jones. Me, I'm higher on Daniel Jones than anybody on the show. I said that before publicly on the record. I really think he got game. I think when you talk about Daniel Jones, like the moment that the Giants gave him something of confidence, and it wasn't a lot, like he had no number 1 or 2 wide receiver. Isaiah Hodgins and Darius Slayton, who always dropping passes.
Number 3
That's nothing to work with.
was number 3.
Richie James, all them guys over there. But you gave him a coach, and the moment he got a coach in Brian Dable, who's able, by the way, turn off your cable, he was able to look formidable. Now, imagine you giving him, updated wide receiving core. He could take that next leap. So that's why I think they did a good job of, just making a tough situation, because it's tough. Like they have to feel good about Daniel Jones. We can sit here and feel good about him. They got to feel good about him. It was not an easy situation, but they made it work, and now they're on the move.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. We're slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.